What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about XLM, Stellar Lumens. This one comes to us not at the request of Ryan Lip, but Ryan, you were talking about it, and I just, inspiration of you, sir, we are going to talk about it here. I have some lines drawn up, but I'm going to save that for the end probably, and let's see. Maybe I'll just delete them all, and we'll just come back to it. So looking at this thing on the monthly here, this month we've got 9 days left, and that is, potential to turn this around, sure, but it doesn't look like a good month so far. In my opinion, it would imply lower price action to come. Let's see if we've got anything that kind of agrees with that, right? From this top to this bottom here, you rejected your 382, kind of rejecting your 236 here. Maybe you come all the way back down to your 0.069 there at about 8.3 cents. I don't know if you go that low. I mean, that kind of would line up with this idea of these like higher lows here. Yeah, like right around 8.5, 8.3 cents. Sure, you could go that low. That is also in line with this previous area of support and resistance here. That's like right there at 8.3 cents exactly, actually, and it is a higher low than this, and I do think you're going to maintain higher lows, right? I don't think you're going lower than these lows here. But let's look at the weekly and get a better kind of understanding. One second, before we do that, actually, I want to see this overall. Yeah, you rejected your 0.5. Your 382 is down there at about 10.2 cents, so maybe you only go that low. Who knows? And that is, again, kind of at a previous area of resistance as well, and a previous area of support. Actually comes in well with that. So between 8.3 to 10.2 cents, somewhere in that range so far is what we got. But let's look at the weekly here and just look at the RSI. The RSI does look bullish. I will say it does look bullish. I think that it has room to come down, though, which would imply that the price itself could also come to lower price itself. Let's see. Yeah, you could come lower. You definitely could. Maybe you come to the 40 and you bounce off of that or something around there. Don't be scared if you catch this on the week that it's down here and it goes below this line. The price could wick down and then come back up in the same week, and the RSI could close above this line. So just because at any given point you see this RSI below this line doesn't mean that it's game over for it. And even if it does close below it, as long as you're having higher lows with these higher highs, I'm not really too worried about it. But I do like the overall structure that you've got here with this channel, this ascending channel in your RSI on the weekly. That would imply an overall longer term kind of move upwards that you're experiencing. And I do think you've got higher lows here, you've got higher highs. I do think it looks nice personally on the weekly, but I think that there is room to come down, just kind of agreeing with what I was saying earlier. Stellar Lumens, I was looking at it here on the coin market cap. It's got 3.13, basically 3.14 billion dollars in market cap valuation. That is a very high market cap valuation. And normally stuff like that, you wouldn't expect tremendous growth, right? Like 100x for that would mean that it's got a $300 billion market cap. But I want to be clear. I think that if any coin was deserving of a $300 billion market cap, it would be a coin that's existed since 2014, hasn't had any critical issues, no rug pull, it's remained relevant. Everybody, like if you don't know what Stellar Lumens is, you haven't been in crypto for long. Okay, there's a lot of people who know about this coin. It's a project with eyes on it. It's got developers and like people doing work on it all the time. Like it's constantly being developed and being improved upon. It's still relevant after all this time. So I think that in itself, along with especially with not having any critical failures, is a big deal. Lasting the test of time is a much bigger deal than having a tremendous bull rally one cycle. Like who cares, Like there's plenty of coins that had tremendous bull rallies and they're forgotten about after their one pump, and those are what we call pump and dumps. And this clearly is not a pump and dump, right? You can see it on the monthly. You've got an accumulation phase, tremendous rally, higher low, higher low, higher low. Yes, you had a lower high. You did not break through your all-time highs. Whatever. Okay, whatever. It's still bullish. This is still a very, 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 very bullish chart. But looking at the daily now, kind of like, or was it the weekly that I wanted to look at? I want to see this. Let me see from low to high. Yeah, you came down. Looks like you're finding resistance at your 382. You're below your 0.5 now where you found support. I doubt that you form a triple bottom here. Those are kind of rare. I do think that once this gives, you probably make your move down to about the 618 to 0.69 area, potentially down to your 786 area as well. And that, wouldn't you know, it lines up with that like 8.6, it's just a little bit above the area I was talking about before, to 10.4. Okay, so that makes sense with this like previous area of support here. I do like that. So just keep those numbers in mind. I do think just on a weekly basis it looks like it wants to go lower. The RSI on the weekly is bullish, but it has room to come down. Just because it looks bullish doesn't mean it has to be go time right now. Looking at the daily in the price, we're coming down below this purple line. The long-term RSI is barely above the 50. So I think, again, this does leave room to come down. I don't think you're going to get a triple bottom here. Personally, that's not my expectation, especially with this low volume. The 4-hour RSI looks the most bearish out of any of the RSIs, which is a good thing. You know, it's good. I mean, it's not good, right? Like you don't want price to go down, I suppose, but to have the longer term stuff look bullish while the shorter term stuff looks bearish, that's not bad. You want your long term stuff to remain bullish. So yes, you probably come down a little bit lower. The daily itself looks like it wants to get into the oversold zone. You were showing strength, man. You broke out of this like descending range here, and you actually came up and went into the bullish area of control, but you rejected it. You got into the bearish area of control, tried to get out of it, and actually rejected that. You had like the reverse rejection here, and I would think that you go to the oversold zone, implying that you do break out of this support area and find the next one, which, wouldn't you know it, right here at these low points here, that's right there at about 9.5 cents, kind of in that range that I was talking about, right? And even the like high points slash support area here, that's at about 10 cents itself. So that would make sense to me. Somewhere, again, between about like 8.5 to 10.3 cents, somewhere in there. Maybe we can refine that range a little bit, but let's look and see. Let's just see if we were to put like 10.3 cents or 10.5. 10.3, right there at this weekly high close, and then you broke up above it, sure. Found support right there. A little bit of support in this area, sure, okay, nice. Nice to see. Little bit of support, not really, kind of insignificant there. All right, yeah, it's somewhat relevant. Maybe not too much further back in time, but you find relevance on it at points in time, sure. And then that 8.3, was it 8.3, 8.5 area? Support, right? Going back in time a little bit further, a little bit of resistance here, support there, resistance, support. Okay, so now with that all in mind, again, bringing it back to the idea on the weekly here, where we see on a fib perspective from low here to high that your, come on now, your 786 lines up kind of well with this area, and your 618 lines up kind of well with this area. I do have more hope that it will go somewhere around here between about 9.6 to 10.3, 10.4 cents, somewhere around there would make sense to me. And with the door being left open, of course, to go to the 786, I do think that you could go a little bit lower, sure. But right now, I think that there's a solid chance you could go there. Pair that with the fact that on the monthly, if I delete all this stuff, if we take the overall top to bottom, the 382 is right there at about 10.2 cents. I really do. I like that 618, that overall 618 from this low to high here. It lines up pretty well with that, right? It's just barely above it, but like right, they line up pretty well with each other, so I do like that. And I wonder, I know I'm going to throw a lot of lines at you guys here, but let's see. Nothing really lines up with it on this one, which is okay, whatever. So I would say, you know, if I had to give it my best guess, we're at 11.3, 11.31 cents right now. I would think that you have about another cent and a half to drop, which doesn't sound like much, but on an 11-cent asset, that is a lot. It's not like a dramatic amount, you know, but let's see, from the current price, nope, that's not the current price. That would give us, let's see, a 1 cent drop would be, you know, about 9% of a drop, and a 1.5 cent drop would be about 13% of a drop. So not too much, you know, maybe drop 15% or even lower, like who knows, but not too much. But I do think you stand to go a little bit lower. But with all that bearish stuff in mind, and I am bearish in the very, very short term, but in the long term, in the ultimate term of this thing, I am bullish. And that's what I'm going to go back to, kind of like what I had drawn on here before. I'm going to draw this on the monthly close here, which lines up with the monthly close here. You know, you didn't have a double top on a wicking basis. It was slightly lower, right? It's a lower high. But on a closing basis, it was very much a double top. If we take this line here and we put it to this one here, you've got an ascending triangle. Okay, you're in a very, if anything, and again, this is why things look bullish in my opinion, you've got higher lows that you've maintained for just basically its entire existence, which is awesome to see, and reason why I don't think that you're going to break these lows down here. There's a couple of possibilities, and I was looking at this before I made this video. I was looking at this, and one of them has me very excited, one of them has me irritated, but still excited, just it's going to take more time. Okay, so let's say that the bull market, right? Everyone's calling for this bull market to end sometime in 2025. And I think that makes sense, right? The halving date is in 2024. It's going to be in April, right? Sometime in April is what people are projecting. It could happen in March, but whatever, give or take a month, probably before whatever everybody's saying. Let's call it April. Okay, which would mean that the next halving date is 4 years later, more or less, right? Give or take a few months. Probably going to be in the beginning of 2028. The halving date for Bitcoin is in 2024 this year in April. So the beginning of 2028 will be the next halving. Ergo, that, by the way, the bear market for crypto basically ended in 2022, right? Last year, about a year ago, right? So it ended 2 years before the halving. Not 2 years, technically a year and a half. But if the halving's in 2024, the bear market ended in 2022 for most cryptos. I would expect that the bear market for the next cycle ends sometime in 2026, right? That's what I'm getting at here. So if it ends in 2026, we're going to start the bear market, you know, probably before then. I mean, it could last a year, it could last 2 years, but let's say the bull market does in fact go all the way at some point into 2025. Okay, nice to see. Maybe let's even say it goes all the way to the end of 2025. We go to December of 2025, okay? Sorry. That leaves us again with two options, two possibilities, okay? So if we take this top here to bottom, we could, and I wouldn't be surprised if we broke these highs and we sent it to new all-time highs. If we were to send it to new all-time highs, it being the price, we could go anywhere from about $2.45 to $8.46, potentially even higher. But to see something like that, you know, by this line here at the most, right, we would see some kind of move that's like just insane. Now, it looks insane. We've done insane things before. Can we do it again? Absolutely. This is crypto. But a market cap like that, again, talking about earlier how we're at about $3 billion, going all the way up to the 786, that would give it, I already did the math, it's around like 220 billion or something like that. I think maybe it's a little bit more, a little bit less than that, but it's a little bit above $200 billion, which is a lot. But if any crypto is deserving of a multi-$100 billion market cap, it's a crypto that is an OG coin that's been around for a very long time, and it has, like, you know, no fatal flaws as far as we know. So I think that is possible. Another possibility, and that's what has me excited. This coin is a multi-billion-dollar coin right now. It's a top-tier coin, and it has the potential to do a 74x from the current price, let alone if it drops a little bit more. It even has the potential to do 100x or more than that. Sure, it definitely does by the end of this bull cycle. But what also has me kind of excited in a more irritated manner, I'm going to get rid of this fib here, is that we could very well still be in this ascending triangle at the end of this bull market, right? Maybe the bull market ends not at this line, maybe it does end at this line, who knows? You know, I'll draw it like right to there, right at the end of 2025. And then we have another bear market that lasts like a year or so, right? That takes us into like February, the beginning of 2027, or the beginning or the end of 2026 here, something like that, right? Maybe we form another top, a triple top, we come down and form another higher high, and this thing is in a, like, basically from 2018 to 2028, it's in like a decade-long ascending triangle. Now that would be very bullish to see, because that'd be a long time of accumulation and consolidation, and the breakout would just be phenomenal. But the thing that has me irritated about that is that wouldn't be happening this cycle. that'd be happening next cycle. And it's really hard to say. It's really the thing that I'm having a hard time with Stellar Lumens right now, you guys, is I think, you know, it very well could break above its all-time highs this cycle. It has absolutely that possibility and that likelihood, that it has a very solid chance of doing that. It also, however, to the same degree, I would say, has the option to reject this area, as it's done twice already, form a triple top, continue down in this ascending triangle, form another higher low in its next bear market, arguably its least dramatic bear market it's ever experienced, right? And then from there, we can see one of the most fantastic bull markets it's experienced, and it'd be an overdue, very much overdue. And I have a hard time, you know, I'm scratching my head with that. You know, I don't know what to think by the end of this bull market, but I think things will be a little bit more clear as we come up to these highs. If we can break through these highs, like especially if we can break above $1, I think at that point, talking about prices that are above $2, maybe even to $8 is very likely. Not just possible, but likely. Right now, they're possible. I would say that going to $2 to $8 is just as likely as rejecting this same zone, right? And maybe this line can be brought up a little bit to where these highs are over here. I had it at the closing periods, but that's what I have a hard time deciding, right? I don't have a hard time saying that I do think in the short term we go down a little bit, okay? This line even right here, that's like right there at 8 cents. Maybe next month we come down. That's like 8.5 cents the following month. Maybe we continue to go down until the end of this year, and that would take us to about like 9 cents. That kind of lines up with that range that we were talking about originally, right? So a lot pointing to that like 8.3 to 10.4 cent region. I do think we go closer to like 10 to 10.4 cents, somewhere in there. But lower, nonetheless, lower is what I'm expecting in the current time frames. And then we can talk about increasing, but I really do wonder how this bull market's going to look. Is it going to be more dramatic than the last cycle? Is it going to be about as dramatic as the last cycle? Either way, it's not a bad thing. It's just you're going to have to be more patient if we find resistance at this area again, right? You're going to have to be more patient, because likely what's going to happen is you're going to have a very mild bear market and get you set up for a very fantastic bull market in the next cycle. That would be my opinion with Stellar Lumens, but who really knows? You know, we're nowhere near that yet. Let's just focus on the current time frames. I do think we go lower, and then from there we can talk about higher. So that's really all I got for you guys. Bit of a head scratcher for the outcome of this bull market. You know, I'd really like to see this thing break its all-time highs, but it doesn't have to. Just because I'd like to see that doesn't mean it has to do that. So definitely one to watch. Definitely one that's been relevant and will remain relevant. I do think that it will achieve a very high market cap by the end of this bull market for sure. Will it be worth multiple, like in the tens of billions, 20s, 30s, 40s of billions, or will it be like hundreds of billions? Who knows, but definitely an impressive market cap nonetheless. So if you guys liked the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more. I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.